for a Web2 guy, if you come and tell him, hey, I'm building an integration and talk about all the tech stack on how I make money go from MoneyGram to blockchain to wallet, probably they would faint.
Yesterday I was in a conference, a person was saying like when Facebook did a survey, 45% of the people don't know that to use Facebook they need internet. It's like another digital money. You don't have to understand. Like if someone is sending Bitcoin, you can get settlement currency, whatever you want.
Payments is one of those things which, I mean, we talk about what is blockchain better at, and it's just that fit is natural, and it's great to have other people in the space focused on that as well. Is not one chain or one approach is going to be the end all be all solution. But I think because the core of it started on payments, it is an area where blockchain really can do things better.
So Jordan, from a CMO to CMO, first off, I want to tell you that you guys are doing a stellar job in terms of the narratives.
No comment.
You and your team have been like amazing. A lot of them said Zeebu has painted consensus with brand Zeebu. I think the second brand or equally good brand is Stellar. You guys have done a stellar job on that. I see that you're enabling the dev community phenomenally well. Give us a little bit of deep dive into, what are the intentions, how is the next 6 months looking like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think, Stellar, like we're an OG blockchain, right? We've been around we're hitting 10 years this year.
Yeah.
But as you guys know from the space, like it is a really dynamic and changing space. And, for us at the Stellar Development Foundation, the big move for us this year was we added smart contract functionality to Stellar. Right?
That's
Widgely. Yeah, in and of itself, like smart contracts have been around, but for us it was like, all right, like this is really the opportunity to learn from how other chains have done it. What are the pain points that developers have with building on smart contracts?
Yeah.
And so for us, that has then to really kind of be able to give developers all the tools that they want that they need to build whatever they want, right? And so we just launched that in April on mainnet, so we're kind of just getting started. But the way we approach developers is particularly around Stellar is okay. Like we've got now the opportunities for DeFi. We also have this big partnership with MoneyGram, which enables like anybody to basically go into a MoneyGram outlet, deposit cash into a Stellar enabled wallet, and then with DeFi on top of that, like you don't need a bank account or an exchange or whatever to be able to access those kinds of things. And so that idea that we talk to developers about is like, we've got this tool set, we've got like all these partnerships in our ecosystem to enable you, whatever you want to build to really kind of be like happen in the real world today. And so that's really kind of been how we've kind of started our dialogue in a main way with developers. And like, we're going to be beating that drum for a while going forward.
I think that drum is one of the, one of the biggest narratives this cycle, in my opinion, is the real world use cases and also DeFi. You mentioned DeFi. So we're really interested in the applications of DeFi and how that's matured over time and what's looking like this cycle. I know you're both doing very innovative, you have very innovative approaches. So Keshav, maybe you can give us an insight as to what Zeebu is doing, and then we can explore more about what Stellar is doing as well.
Yeah, so at Zeebu, we started with the vision that how we can make payment and settlements very easy. And let's start to leverage the strength of each player. So we never thought to come up with our own blockchain, but we started on Ethereum by setting up the entire settlement layer for focusing one industry, which is telecom. Now, we tasted our transaction up to $2 billion worth of transaction settlement we did in last 8 months, and the telecoms are liking us. So now we are exploring more and more DeFi opportunities. So now we are inviting builders to come aboard, validators to come and help us for expanding higher transaction bandwidth. So that's where we are inviting builders to come and set up their settlement smart contracts with us. On the other side, we are inviting staking and restaking on our liquidity pool. And we are expanding on multiple different chains so that because of the blockchain space expanded dramatically, and users have their own choice, their own preferences to use their own blockchain. So we are partnering with all of the leading blockchains that how we can bring this DeFi initiative, our settlement layer, on all of the leading blockchain. Because we have seen the era on the DeFi towards decentralized exchanges, but no one is talking about settlements. And that has been biggest problem for on-ramp, off-ramp, and services. And the biggest if you talk about next billion people coming on the blockchain, Sui did a one good thing by integrating that Google login, which is not putting any footprint out there. Stellar is now coming up with the DeFi initiative that how you can build on the Stellar so that you can talk and integrate all of the community believer of the Stellar as well. And over there, we are now enabling all of this blockchain with the settlement layer, because for next billion people, it is very difficult for them to understand the jargons of the crypto. It's fine. They don't understand it. Yesterday, I was in a conference. A person was saying like, when Facebook did a survey, 45% of the people don't know that to use Facebook, they need internet, right? So that's the simplicity, yeah. So, and that's what we are trying to do, that to deal with crypto, it's like another digital money. You don't have to understand, like if someone is sending Bitcoin, you can get settlement currency, whatever you want. You don't have to deal with the complexity of swapping your Bitcoin or swapping your any altcoin into the stable coin, converting into your native currency. It's a difficult one. And that's where Zeebu comes in. We enable that settlement layer for businesses right now and expanding to next billion people with the enabling it for all of them.
Yeah, and
Really interesting.
I
Sounds like it's similar.
Well, I just think like that, the point you make around like the settlement, the last mile problem is one I think that a lot of people in the industry sort of overlook or don't think enough about, right? So you see a lot of great partnerships, but if they don't have that sort of like, okay, how, like, yeah, the promise of blockchain is improve financial access, bringing new people in. If you don't have that sort of last piece figured out, we're kind of talking to ourselves. And so, like, I think that makes total sense. And that the parallel for us is like, yeah, we have focused on these on and off ramps on the Stellar network to enable people to like get money on and off, right? And if you don't have that figured out, then you're really just talking to the same population of people, giving them different products.
Right, and that recycled liquidity it's interesting to see that these models allow new liquidity to come in, new people to understand, and like you said, Keshav, possibly not quite fully understand, as a lot of it is very complicated, but it makes it an easy concept for them. And this model, DeFi, as Zeebu has, and now learning more about Stellar, it's a transaction feed, right? And people understand that, okay, you're processing real world transactions, we're getting a percentage of that. Tell us more about what's happening in the Stellar DeFi ecosystem.
Yeah, I mean, I think for us, like the DeFi piece for us, we are like, it is just getting started, and all protocols coming in, et cetera. I think what this point around like there's like blockchain is complicated, and so as you start to bring in, if you want to bring in more people, bring in more liquidity, et cetera, you have to kind of remove all of that. We almost obfuscate it, right? So people who are using like the on and off ramping for MoneyGram, they like the ones that are doing the wallets that are doing the best job for that are so the ones who are not talking about, and we're using cryptocurrency to send it around, right? It's just a wallet. I mean, it's like Venmo, but international, and you can, right? And so there is, I think, I mean, obviously the tech art, we're in a very dynamic industry, and the tech is always evolving. There's a propensity for us to want to be tech forward. Look how cool this is. And people are building some really cool stuff. But I think when it comes to bringing in those additional people, they're like, it's, to the extent it's in the background and you're sort of almost like, like we don't, obviously we're trying to get people to know about Stellar, but I don't really care if end users know about Stellar. It's the people that are making products for consumers, like, they don't need the end user. They don't need to know, right? Yeah, and so for us, we like from an end consumer perspective, we are fine with like an Intel Inside kind of a. It's the builders that we want to get to know and understand how it works and what our network can help them enable.
Yeah, I think those are the chains and the protocols that are kind of like starting to take the limelight this cycle, as the overwhelming narrative seems to be we need to make it easy. They don't need to know what powers it. Same as in the traditional Web 2 world and that kind of tech. Nobody really needs to know about what powers it. It just needs to be easy, simple, work well, and have those real world use cases, right? So
I think one of the point that you beautifully said was they don't need to know what's happening in the kitchen, right? I mean, for a Web 2 guy, if you come and tell him, hey, I'm building an integration and talk about all the tech stack on how I make money go from MoneyGram to blockchain to wallet, probably they would faint. Because they really don't want to know the whole recipe, right? All they want to know is, hey, I am enabling you to move from the traditional money business, fiat business, into the currency of your choice. How cool is that?
Yeah.
And I think as a marketeer, one of the challenges, how do you build around that narrative?
Yeah, it is. It's a challenge, and we've tried to provide all the varying levels of kind of like, we think of like our developers. I mean, there's a funnel around that, right? It's like, all right, what's the high level? Okay, well, at a certain point, you're going to get into the documentation and really understand what makes it work and what's involved in terms of, I mean, there's a development cost to building that stuff. And so I think for us, we've tried really hard to make kind of like the overall concept. I mean, our line for marketing is where blockchain meets the real world. And so like that is, okay, well, what does that mean practically? Okay, well, things like the last mile problem and on the fiat opera. Okay, well, what's that? Tell me more about how do I do that? Okay, well, here's the literal documentation that gets into, and for that to be clear, and here's an ecosystem of other companies that have done it, that can help you do that. And so it's a journey, and it's a marathon, not a sprint. But I think like the idea, I think that high level idea, as we try to bring in like Web 2 developers as well, is to be like, hey, like here's the problem and here's the solution at a high level, and we can help you get there. Yeah, exactly.
I think one other extension of the same point that we were talking, CMO Web3 will not be complete without talking about community. And like Stellar, Zeebu also has a very unique challenge. Right? I mean, we want to build a community not just of all the Web3 and crypto enthusiasts, but also about the people who use our use case, like telecom carriers, to be very specific. I know at Stellar, you're a very pro-developer-centric organization. As a CMO, what is your take on how you're building that community, getting out to the developers, right? I mean, going to crypto investors, Web3 investors is easier than going through those nerds, those developers, and telling them, hey, come be part of my community and, let me help you do that. No, how are you tackling that problem?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. And yeah, like for us, like we're trying to get more wallets to come integrate with Stellar to enable, and our business development team like that, like they are focused on like beyond the developer piece, they're focused on like either institutional partnerships or wallets, et cetera, to come just to expand that. And, there it is really around, look, there are companies, I mean, Stellar, our foundation, we are a mission-driven place, right? We're a foundation, we're a not-for-profit, we're not a charity, but like other L1 blockchains, and we're set up as a foundation. But we have a mission about creating equitable access to the global financial system. There are partners who work with us who do not care about that mission, and that is okay, right? Because if it helps, if we think it will help enable achieving that mission, then great. And so there are some partners we'll go and talk to and like, yeah, doing well by doing good and doing good by doing well, like that resonates. There are other partners like, look, this is a business and I am like, okay, we'll make money. I'm here to make money. And that's great.
Completely fine.
And right. So then here's what, like, if you want to be able to, you're a wallet in sub-Saharan Africa and you want to be able to access a whole new set of consumers and like the people who are going cross-border and they can't move their money, here's why Stellar can help do that. And here's the business opportunity you're on. So we care about both. Not everyone we work with cares about both, and that's okay. Like, as long as it all sort of works towards like enabling the opportunity.
One more question on top of that. Like, as a OG blockchain, you mentioned in the beginning, I have been into the space since last 13 years, but I've seen like Stellar has always been part of all of the discussion in the leading front. How you guys are managing this constant narrative, constant engagement, and staying on top of all of the trend, whatever going ups and downs within the market, but Stellar always stays on the top side of the wave.
Yeah, I think part of the reason is, I mean, you guys, you focus on the settlement layer and payments, right? I mean, Stellar is all, Jed McCaleb founded the Stellar network with the idea around like payments and moving money better, right? I mean, that was like the core principle, like day one creation of the Stellar network. And that has effectively remained true. And, I think there have been times where, we didn't, do we go chase the NFT craze? Should we go chase meme coins? And we've like, look, Stellar's an open network. People build create those things on our network. I think what the foundation has always been really good at, even before I joined, has been like, look, this is what we're like true to our mission. And like, where we have evolved is sort of like from a singular focus on payments to more of like now everyday financial services. And that's what kind of smart contracts and DeFi creates. but it still sort of all ties back to that mission of equitable access to the global financial system. And, it is, we will sometimes fight the urge to like go jump after this thing, jump after that thing. But we've managed to remain pretty disciplined about it.
And it goes to show, you said 10 years, right? That's such a long time in blocking in, the crypto space. So it just goes to show that, you've been able to maintain that balance, that solid foundation. And in the end, that's what matters.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
And I think payments is one of those things which, we talk about what is blockchain better at? And it's just that fit is natural. And it's great to have other people in the space focused on that as well. Is not one chain or one approach is going to be the end all be all solution. But I think because the core of it started on payments, it is an area where blockchain really can do things better. That's kind of enabled that.
Yeah, and it's crystal clear. Satoshi's original vision was peer-to-peer payments. The biggest pain points are payments. And so it's just the easiest use case for blockchain that it solves the best, or one of the top for sure. So yeah, this narrative is all about real world use cases, interoperability, accessibility that you've been speaking about, Jordan. And, brands like Zeebu, like Stellar are taking the charge in that area. And it's really fun to hear about what you've developed, how you've navigated the space, the journey, the ups, the downs, and you're still here at the top, among the top projects to talk about that today. So we're really excited to see how it evolves. And I just want to thank you for being here today, Jordan, also to the Zeebu team. And we hope to catch up with you at the next conference.
Yeah, great talking to you guys.
Hey, talking to you.